Pan-Africanism is a political and cultural ideology that promotes the unity and solidarity of people of African descent worldwide. Pan-Africanism emerged from a shared history of oppression, including slavery and colonialism, aiming to empower African people to direct their own social, cultural, political, and economic futures. The origin of Pan-Africanism traces its roots centuries back with a significant push after the transatlantic slave trade and the experience of colonization. The 1900 Pan-African Conference in London, organized by Henry Sylvester Williams, provided a key early forum for the movement. Henry Sylvester Williams was a lawyer, activist, counselor, and writer from the island of Trinidad and Tobago, who was among the founders of the Pan-African movement. The African-American activist William Edward Bogart Du Bois organized a series of Pan-African Congresses, with the 1945 Manchester Congress being the defining moment for the movement's broader recognition. William Du Bois was an African-American sociologist, socialist, historian, and Pan-Africanist civil rights activist. Pan-Africanism serves as the intellectual foundation of the African Union, whose goal is of a greater African integration and a unified political and economic future. Pan-Africanism does not have a single starter, but rather evolved from a mid-19th century ideas by African diaspora intellectuals like Martin Delany, Edward Blyden, with William Du Bois, who is widely considered as the father of modern Pan-Africanism for his role in organizing the first Pan-African Conference in 1900 and subsequent congresses. The Pan-African movement was a response to European colonialism, emphasizing the unity of people of African descent globally. However, it was Henry Sylvester Williams, a lawyer from the island of Trinidad and Tobago, who coined the term Pan-Africanism and organized the first Pan-African Conference in London in 1900, a pivotal event in bringing the movement to the forefront. While William Du Bois was introduced to Pan-Africanism at the 1900 conference, his consistent advocacy for African history and culture and his organization of Pan-African Congresses cemented his position as a key figure who kept the movement alive. Pan-Africanism started as an ideology among the Africans in the diaspora before spreading to the African continent. The series of Pan-African Congresses led by figures like William Du Bois were crucial in developing and promoting Pan-Africanist thought and action in the 20th century. The Pan-African movement aimed to foster collective self-reliance, empower Black communities, and promote the unity of African people to resist imperialism and achieve self-determination. There is not a specific list of Pan-African countries. Nonetheless, the concept of Pan-Africanism refers to a political and social movement advocating for the unity of all African people and nations. All 54 recognized countries in Africa, which are members of the African Union, are technically part of this movement in their participation in the Pan-African Parliament and efforts towards continental integration. Pan-Africanism promotes a unified state or continent with shared economic and political goals, like the African Continental Free Trade Area. A strong Pan-African spirit encourages a free flow of culture, such as music and film, between African nations. Pan-African nations like Ghana, Ethiopia, and Egypt play a crucial role in the early Pan-African movement and continue to be strong proponents of continental unity. Many countries incorporate Pan-African colors, like those of the Pan-African flag, into their national flags, symbolizing their connection to the movement. The Pan-African flag, also known as the Black Liberation Flag, is an ethnic flag representing Pan-Africanism, the African diaspora, and Black nationalism. The Pan-African flag is a tricolor flag that consists of 3 equal horizontal bands of red, black, and green. The flag was created as a response to racism against African Americans in 1920 with the help of Marcus Mosiah Garvey. The colors were likely influenced by the older Pan-African colors, substituting yellow for black in order to promote racial pride. The red color represents blood which African men shed for their redemption and liberty. The black color represents the color of noble and distinguished race to which African men belong, and the green color represents the luxuriant vegetation of our motherland. The Pan-African flag later became a Black nationalist symbol for the worldwide liberation of Black people. As an emblem of Black pride, the flag became popular during the Black liberation in the 1960s. A number of national flags of national states in Africa and the Caribbean have been inspired by the Pan-African flag, including the Biafran flag, the flag of Malawi, the Kenyan flag, the flag of South Sudan, the flag of Martinique, and the flag of St. Kitts and Nevis. On the other hand, the red, yellow, and green Pan-African colors were inspired by Ethiopian flag. The yellow color included in the Pan-African flag symbolizes justice, harmony, or the wealth of Africa. The Ethiopian-inspired Pan-African flag became a symbol for many independent African nations and is also used by the Rastafari movement to represent the spiritual connection to Ethiopia. Both color schemes are featured in national flags of various African nations as well as in other emblems and art to signify resistance, solidarity, and a shared heritage. The most important early Pan-Africanists in the 19th century figures include Martin Delany, Edward Blyden, and Henry Sylvester Williams. The 20th century leaders include William Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, George Padmore, Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, Jomo Kenyatta, Thomas Sankara, among many others. These pioneers from both the diaspora and the continent championed the unity, solidarity, and upliftment of Africans and people of African descent through intellectual movements, advocacy, and political action, culminating in initiatives like the African Union. Pan-Africanism has seen the contribution of numerous female African activists throughout its lifespan, despite the systematic lack of attention paid to them by scholars and male Pan-Africanists alike. Pioneering women in Pan-Africanism include Amy Ashwood Garvey and Amy Jack Garvey, both of who played crucial roles in organizing the 5th Pan-African Congress, bringing together the anti-colonial activists. Aona Keita, a Malian midwife and trade unionist, Putuse Apollos, a Namibian activist, and Bibi Titi Mohammed, a Tanzanian politician, all three founded the Pan-African Women's Organization. Other notable female figures are Alice Kinloch, a founder of the African Association in the 1890s, Jessie Fawcett, a literary editor and speaker of the Second Pan-African Conference, Miriam Makeba, an artist and activist who championed the anti-apartheid and Pan-African movements, Winnie Madikizela Mandela, a fierce anti-apartheid activist and politician who tirelessly fought for the rights of Black South Africans, and Elaine Johnson Sirleaf, a Liberian politician who served as the first elected female head of state on African, representing a significant achievement within the Pan-Africanism. Modern Pan-Africanism do advocate for greater continental unity, economic integration, and democratic solidarity using digital platforms and grassroots organizations. These modern Pan-Africanists build on the legacy of the pioneers, transforming Pan-Africanism for the 21st century by promoting people's democracy, cultural reclamation, and cross-border collaboration in the face of modern challenges. Modern Pan-Africanists include activist scholars and politicians like Molefi Asante, an African-American, Sheikh Anta Diop from Senegal, Fadel Barro from Senegal, Filimbi from Congo, La Lucha from Congo, Yenamar from Senegal, and Balai Citoyen for Burkina Faso. Digital Pan-Africanism, a major new trend, involves using digital tools to create networks for advocacy and collaboration across the diaspora and the continent of Africa. Many modern Pan-Africanists leverage social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, podcasts, and YouTube channels to raise awareness, organize protests, and foster discussions on economic and social justice. Modern Pan-Africanism is a continuation and evolution of earlier efforts, emphasizing collective action and mutual support to counter the repression of critical voices and movements in some parts of Africa. While the goal of a politically united Africa remains, some modern approaches also focus on strengthening democratic governance and individual liberties within existing nations.